Have you ever looked at people who get drawn into cults and just wondered, how? How does that happen to seemingly ordinary smart people? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden world of mind control. We're using the work of Dr. Stephen Hassan, who is one of the world's top experts on this stuff. And he's not just an expert because he's a licensed therapist. He's an expert because he actually escaped a notorious cult himself. So he knows the playbook from the inside out. So let's just start with this. This is probably the single most dangerous idea you can have on this topic. The belief that you're too smart or you're too strong-willed to ever be manipulated, well, that's the welcome mat. That's literally what recruiters are counting on to get you to let your guard down. All right, so let's just completely tear down this myth right from the get-go. The first thing you have to get your head around is that being susceptible to a cult has absolutely nothing to do with being weak or unintelligent. It just has to do with being human. I want you to take a second and be really honest with yourself. When you hear the words cult member, what's the first image that pops into your head? Is it someone kind of lost, maybe a little weak, not too bright? You know, that's the stereotype we all have. But the reality? It's so much more unsettling. And there it is. That's the key. The people who get pulled into these groups are, for the most part, totally normal, well-adjusted people. And you can bet that almost none of them would have ever joined if they knew what the group was really about from day one. See, this is the playbook. This is how it works. Recruiters aren't looking for your weaknesses. They're targeting your most basic human desires, things we all want, right? To be happy, to find love, to have a purpose, to feel secure. They come along and offer what looks like a perfect solution to those needs. And that, right there, is the bait on the hook. And you know, this leads us to another huge misunderstanding. If you're only keeping an eye out for weird religious groups in robes, you are going to miss almost the entire picture. The modern cult wears a lot of different masks. You can find these exact same control tactics in multi-level marketing schemes that promise you'll get rich quick, or in political movements that demand your absolute loyalty. You see it in these self-help seminars that slowly isolate you. And sometimes you even see it in a controlling one-on-one relationship. So this is a really critical shift in how you need to think about this. You have to stop focusing on what a group believes. That's almost irrelevant. The real red flag is how they behave. The danger is in the structure of control, not the weird beliefs. This whole process, it's never sudden. It's a slow burn. First, they use deception. It's always a friendly invitation, right? A cool workshop, a promising meeting. Then they start to isolate you, slowly cutting you off from friends or family who might say, hey, wait a minute. And finally, once you're in that bubble, they establish total control over who you see, what you read, what you think, and even how you feel. Okay, so let's get into the mechanics of it. How does someone actually hijack another person's mind? This isn't magic or science fiction. It's a very specific set of psychological techniques that are, well, they're disturbingly effective. These tactics all work together to create a powerful system of influence. They control your behavior through intense group pressure. They control your information by making sure you only hear their side of the story. They control your thoughts using hypnotic language and little cliches. And they control your emotions by making you terrified of the outside world, creating this us versus them mentality. I mean, check out this example from the source material. It just shows how far these leaders will go. This martial arts master secretly hired guys to attack his own students, just so he could reinforce their fear and make them believe he was their only true protector. It's a classic tactic. Make the world outside seem scary and dangerous, so the group feels like the only safe place to be. Okay, this might be the most insidious tool of them all. It's called thought stopping. Basically, members are taught little tricks, like chanting or meditating or speaking in tongues, to literally shut down their own critical thinking the second a doubt pops into their head. The message is simple. If you have a negative thought, don't examine it, just erase it. Because that doubt, that's proof that there's something wrong with you. And right there, that's the devastating result. Think about it. If the doctrine is perfect and the leader is perfect, then any problem, any doubt you have, any bit of unhappiness, it must be your fault. The whole system becomes this perfect, self-sealing trap where the member is just stuck in this endless loop of self-blame. So hearing all this can feel pretty heavy, I get it. But the point of all this is not to scare you.
It's to arm you. Because the ultimate antidote to this kind of manipulation is knowledge. Just understanding that these tactics exist is how you build your defense.
Now that we've seen the playbook, let's just circle back for a second to the expert who decoded it all for us. Like we said at the beginning, this is Dr. Stephen Hassan, and his authority on this is really second to none.
The thing about him is he's not just some academic studying this from a distance. As a young man, he was pulled into a really destructive cult, so he gets it from the inside out. And he combines that lived experience with decades of work as a mental health counselor, helping literally thousands of people and families break free.
And this brings us right back to where we started, back to that vulnerability. The reason we think it could never happen to me is because most of us don't even know what it is. We don't have the vocabulary, we don't have the framework to even spot sophisticated psychological manipulation when it's happening right in front of us. So if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this. Just by listening to this, by taking this information in, you are already building your defenses. Understanding these tactics exist, knowing what they look like, and just accepting that everyone is potentially vulnerable, that awareness is your shield. And that's really the question I want to leave you with. From now on, when you see that sales pitch that seems way too good to be true, or you hear that political rhetoric that demands total, unquestioning loyalty, or you meet that new group that promises to have all the answers to life's problems, now that you know the playbook, what are you going to start to notice?